well. Do more of that. What
Yep.
didn't work? Try not to do that thing. And last game, if you had to try and zero in on what didn't work for TSM, it was control of their own jungle, and you could isolate that further to having a weaker jungler in dueling, because Xmithy was always able to go forward, that pushed TSM back, and that had far-reaching applications as far as the rest of the game goes.
And that seems to already be the case in the picks and bans so far. Back to the game one sides, TSM still banned Cassiopeia, but so far Immortals have skipped the Zac ban. If they're willing to let Sven play it again just to invade him one more time, that same Lucian ban is the first one. Kalista, Taliyah, and Zac were the 3 Immortals bans in game one. We'll see if it's Kalista, Taliyah, and maybe an Orianna this time around.
Yeah,
Or a
every
Syndra.
ban at Bjergsen technically worked.
It
Belter
did.
did have a carry performance on the Corki, but did not keep the Kassadin down. Having to switch that one ban over to Kalista does feel like the red side must ban in this series would be Kalista. Everything else is kind of up in the air as to what you want to ban.
Well, TSM have kept their same 3 bans of Cassiopeia, Lucian, Kog'Maw, even in the same order, so we'll see if Immortals does vary the road here. Does Zac stay on the mix, or do they add the Syndra or the Orianna? Is that going to be Rakan off the table there? More worried about that duo.
Do like this adaptation here from Immortals, trying to break up that combo. The bottom lane of TSM, even in the loss, was definitely one of the strong points for them. Another thing that came out of that game, Smithy's performance on that Sejuani was extremely good, and that slightly will deprioritize the Gragas as far as the pick ban for the entire series does go, but Immortals Hero could easily pick it up.
Yeah, and I have to wonder if Zac just falls off the priority list, because you need to be able to jump forward at the enemy jungle. One thing that doesn't need to change, one thing that went well for Immortals last game,
Jarvan.
was the Jarvan. You run it in the top lane or the jungle, it keeps your flexibility alive late into the draft phase.
Wow.
What? That's an early jinx.
It's the play style that Immortals want to play around. They're worried about bans coming through by the end of it all, and they say we need to keep Cody-san on a very long range, high damage late game champion, so Jinx is the fill when Tristan Cog are gone.
So early in the draft to
Well,
pick it.
they want to maximize their counter picking here. They don't want to show anything as possible. Even counter picking in supports has become incredibly important here. Now, TSM not going to want to show too much themselves. Gragas definitely flexible and a better option there for Sven Skaren.
Definitely a better early game jungle on this one. Won't be invaded on quite as hard. Alice are going to come in to mix and match alongside the Tristana.
Yeah, and in the same way, when you have a Jinx, you generally build compositions to protect it. When you pick it this early, you allow the other team to build compositions to kill the Jinx.
Yes.
So getting the early Alistar, I think, is very smart. It's both a good peeling champion as well as an engaged champion, and it's something that Ole has excelled with so far in the playoffs.
Been waiting to see the Alistar priority rise in this series. Now with the Rakan ban, Biofrost gets to take his hand with the cow. Dives can definitely be real. Mid lane roams can definitely be real even early on in the game. And Belter will also have to be watching those.
So we'll see if Immortals adds to their mid lane ban list, maybe an Ori and a Syndra, if they let their foot off the pedal a little bit with that one. Certainly can't be as many bans as the previous one, as they know the mid lane here on Immortals. Again, keeping that Jarvan flex and waiting to see the support. Syndra added to the mix. TSM, of course, can ban supports pretty cleanly. Otherwise, they have to wait to see where the Jarvan goes.
That's the thing. Whenever you see the Jinx pickup, you're thinking some sort of protection for her, right? You can't do too much to Alistar, but Jenna can interrupt. You know, some of the combos there. Thresh as well with the Lantern and with the Flay are pretty much the 2 main options. TSM are opting to ban junglers though.
Yeah, well, looking at the support pool, I see Morgana, Janna, Lulu, Tahm Kench. There are a lot of supports that can fill the same niche. So I think what hurt TSM last game was Xmithy's Sejuani. So I like that ban more because it's more targeted into taking away something they can specifically do.
Keep in mind, last time Immortals was on this side, they put the Jarvan in the jungle and played Shogath in the top lane. This time around, they banned away the Gnar that Hansard had played into it. So maybe they're still planning on doing that same flex, and TSM seeing the Gnar ban. Do they care about Shogath? Does it matter to them? Cho is good against Alistar. That true damage pierces the ultimate. You can get rid of him sometimes. Morgana off the table. That's a good pick in Alistar. It's not too hard to react to a headbutt pulverize with Black Shield. They still will add that one support ban.
And if they want to be able to counterpick the top lane, assuming they can play the Jarvan bottom and they'd want to do something like a Renekton later, they would pick a support here, but they instead want to counterpick the support lane based on the whole team composition. And this does tell you it's a top lane Shen and a jungle Jarvan.
Yes, it does. It gives you the lanes right away, unless you're doing something really weird like support Shen, but that is incredibly unlikely, though it has been seen once in a while. But it's not Elimination playing it, so it seems more unlikely. Cho'Gath is left available, though, and seems like it's pretty good into Shen. And that's going to be the grab for TSM showing the top lane.
And I have to say, if you're looking at possible Immortals picks, the Ardent Sensor does make the most sense. Even though everyone's all about playmaking supports right now, Jarvan adding extra attack speed, plus a Jinx and a Corki, 2 attack speed champions. If you have an Ardent Sensor on top of all of that, it would definitely bring the damage together. But TSM, well, I guess it's just hovering over, possibly here.
Or much more likely.
Hovering over some vintage mid-lane picks.
Yep.
Harkening back to the Azir Victor meta, but the Ori, which has been banned for much of this series, Bjergsen takes it.
Well, that means that the most reliable engage for TSM is going to be Biofrost once again. I mean, this guy definitely stepped up in game number 1 for them. They're going to need him to in game number 2 because the Cho'Gath and the Gragas provide a little bit of follow-up, engagement, but that main engagement is definitely going to be his.
All right, so Immortals lock in their composition. It's very similar to the last one. 3 big beef balls in the front line, double marksman in the back. Slightly different texture this time around. Jarvan's not in the top lane, no Sejuani, and it's now a Jinx instead of a Kog'Maw. But otherwise, the soul, the spirit's still the same. TSM, though, Cho'Gath in the top, very, very threatening. The Orianna follow-up certainly there as well. They can definitely pull the trigger here on TSM's side. Yeah,
keep throwing tanks into the front line and see whose back line can tread through them faster. The Cho'Gath can become tankier than any one man, pretty much, depending on how many feasts you get. But a Hurricane on the Jinx can tread through a triple front line. So then it becomes so much about the execution and the ability to reach the back line instead of just doing a straight up front line team fight. So really interested to see how the flanks and the wards and initiations develop in this game 3.
It'll be all about how well they can play this one. We're into game 3 of the best of 5s. That trophy on the line right now. And again, is it TSM's 6th or Immortals' 1st here? Will there be a 4th banner hanging above the North American LCS studio at the end of the day? We will find out shortly. You see the scoreline 1-1 right now. Back to the same sides as the first game that TSM had won. The comp's a little bit different though. Immortals no longer on the single carry. It's Pobelter and Cody-san sharing the load and damage duties. See what can happen here in the TD Garden live in Boston. An amazing crowd and amazing players as well. We'll see what can happen. Load ourselves into game 3 on the mix. TSM and Immortals, who will it be? We load into the Rift.
I think in the laning phase, TSM has drafted themselves a stronger hand. The Cho'Gath can push in the Shen. The Orianna, depending on skill matchup, can win or lose that lane. And I think the Trist Alistair beats the Jinx Tahm Kench early on. So there's a chance here that TSM has 2 to 3 pushing lanes, which is opposite to what happened last game. That means you really have to see how Svenskeren and Smithy operate in the jungle based on the lane pressure.
With Jarvan, I mean, you can throw level 2 ganks at people. You can just do red buff straight into ganks. Smithy definitely has a lot of options with the champion. It definitely does depend on any sort of deep wards that go down, though, and TSM looking to get some extra information here around the Raptors.
See what they can find for themselves. Double If going to look into the river. Cody-san just dancing. Looks stylish. Now, is this instrument better or worse than Cowbell Alistair?
Worse.
But Biofrost didn't even bring an instrument.
Yeah.
So
Ole wins.
Tongue Guitar 1. Alistair 0.
All right, good start. Immortals can make it 2-1. Or if that'll be for TSM into this one. Flame waiting back in the tri-brush. We'll see what kind of jungle start we actually get for ourselves. Right now, Smithy's Jarvan staying around the Raptors or maybe the red. And we're going to have Sven on the Gragas come back down to his bottom side. Might just get the same leash he had in the first game. Seems likely, waiting around those Raptors.
Yeah, no early game scouting this game from either team. Hansard did ward over the wall, and that will be able to see Flame run to lane. Now a late invade on the red to disrupt the super leash.
They're spotted, some damage on a double, but a smite's going to be available for Sven. One more auto, and it's not going to matter anyway. Very little gain there by the duo of Immortals.
It actually helped him.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Saved them an auto attack.
Smithy, though, spotted by that ward that was placed by Hansard. They know that he's going for this counter blue, so it's a very easy reaction for Svenskeren. Slip in over to Immortals jungle and do the same.
Good damage on a double, though, with the explosive charge on as well. It's going to hurt quite a bit. Cody's a bit lower on health now into this one. And he's actually going Fervor as well on Jinx, which is optimal for teamfight damage with the Hurricane, but it makes your laning phase a lot weaker. You don't get that same sustain.
Is that really a Jarvan game?
Well, traded up over there. He's still pushing into this one, and Bjergsen sees what's up, runs away, gets the ward on, Ghost Pop to get away, and Bjergsen will survive, might miss some CS. Same time, Sven now, the first one to bot lane.
Sneaky.
He's gonna see Cody, and he finds Ole. Good flash to get away, but now that is a flashless Tahm Kench for the repeat gank.
Now you can play this lane, though, keep the Tahm Kench a little bit more defensive, and then rely on the Devour there to try and save Jinx. If he overextends into the lane. They do have one ward in the river, but that's about it. So it could be a repeat gank from Svenskeren.
See if he comes into this one. He's also a camp ahead right now, level 3 to level, just now picked up by Smithy, getting his Gromp done, but the Krug's halfway through as well.
Already you get to see the difference, though, of the Gragas versus the Zac. They get to swap jungle buffs at the very start. There's no 3 buff that happens this time because Gragas is a very formidable foe to invade. You don't want to do that early on as the Jarvan. And then after clearing, he can get that early gank off with a high amount of threat and burn the flash from Ole, which will make that defensive laning phase even more defensive for Immortals.
We might see more pressure on the bot side. Monster seeing that he might not get as much help. Got rid of the blast a little bit earlier, now trading alongside. Flame getting some damage across, triggers the grasp, and out he goes. Now Smithy does want this side, and he's actually going to jump right onto Hanser if he goes for it.
Doesn't know when he would have been there.
Yeah, he's waiting to see if Hanser recalled or not. As soon as he shows back in lane, though, Smithy should go for it.
Blast cone, waiting for it. Sven's still a little bit far away. They got a few seconds in this one, and here comes the attempted play. Gragas isn't too far. There's the flash taunt into the knockup. He's going to get the bit of damage there, and Hanser going to get a health. He's going to flash to buy some time. And the Gragas is waiting in the brush. He's going to land the slow as well, and the flash to safety is good enough for him. A trade of flashes for top lane. Swabelter might want in,
got
but
an angle.
Do they have the damage out? But he's going to Valkyrie the wall. Do they have what they need? Slowed again by Sven. And Hanser only pushed out of lane. Will lose some farm, but gets away.
Sven the bodyguard saves him with 2 slows, but still a lot of time lost for Hanser in that lane. Can Immortals get the wave to the turret fast enough to actually...
Ooh, doesn't get over the wall. The E didn't go far enough in level 4v3. Smithy does have flash. And here comes Flame as well. Can they get Sven on this one? He's got to watch out for Hanser, so ceasefire in the top lane.
Again, from the mid lane roam as well, though, Pobelter gets the first move, and Bjergsen just pushes the wave. So Orianna catches a bit up in CS during that little roam, and Immortals do not come up with any sort of kills.
Bot lane actually holding in pretty nicely. Cody's able to survive this lane matchup. Doran's Blade and not even Warlord's Bloodlust, but he's equal in CS, so I gotta say that's pretty well done for not the easiest matchups, especially with Keystones added, so that's kind of nice. He can keep scaling.
Tristana, Alistar, tons of kill pressure, so Cody-san always going to have to be vigilant about the engage. That's where the Tahm Kench pick comes in. It's not the playmaking support we're used to seeing from Ole, but it's the type of support they need in this match.
Yeah, Cody-san picking into this matchup. Gotta think they feel comfortable.
Yeah, saw the Trist when he grabbed it. Doing okay so far, and the Tahm Kench pick later on. Quick clear of the minions. They got them all. 42 to 39. Actually, +3 as the lane resets for Immortals.
Yeah, just an exemplary job by that bottom lane. Lanes across the board for Immortals actually doing pretty well. Yeah. Being able to force Hanser's flash out, push him back in a lane where Cho'Gath is kind of expected to win and can still extend it. Trying to relieve that pressure early, very critical. The fact that the gold is still close is good for Immortals with their weak laning phase.
You always need to remember the flashes that are used offensively, though, can also be punished just as effectively as the defensive one. So while they blew Hanser's flash, Flame used his flash to do it. And the jungler attention is really what's going to have to turn the tides up there.
It could be a target that body slam is enough to probably confirm a rupture is going to land afterwards, and the silence to follow through could be pretty good. Biofrost going to make a nice play to try to make the freeze. Double tried to recall first, and that's kind of the requirement. You're going to get some damage on this, but it delays the recall by about 15 seconds here, so Cody-san is going to lose some CS on the back side for Biofrost choosing to forsake his recall.
You can no longer auto-attack after a headbutt on Alistar, so he headbutts that minion away, doesn't quite kill it, and loses his CS into the turret. Still very close with double BF sword in the bottom lane.
Cody-san's payment for that recall. Of course, he gets to get boots as well, so slightly got himself the item lead. You see the jungle proximity here for Smithy. How different it's been across the games. Top lane, 4 times what it was in the first one.
Yeah, so focused in what he's doing within the game, but so unpredictable for the opponents oftentimes. Everyone talks about how hard it is to track Smithy and how much pressure he puts on the map for this Immortals team.
Definitely matchup based last time around. Working off the Zac this time around. Svenskaren's coming for a visit on the red side.
He's smiteable. No, he smites too early, and Sven hits it with the body slam, but explosive cast betrays Bjergsen. The shockwave not to land. Now Biofrost, yeah, kind of hit up with that Valkyrie damage and takes a bit of punishment there, but shockwave down, there's no more threat.
Smite fight still huge there with hitting 6, but the dis-synergy between the Gragas and the Orianna ultimate potentially costing them a kill. Like Smithy still had a chance to flash the shockwave if he was an explosive castaway, and he's going right back at it, very low on health, trying to steal red buff. Biofrost sees him.
Biofrost's not that threatening by himself. The damage upwards there, he's in smite range, lands it, gets away, and even a convenient blast cone since his Q was down. Inferno Drake up, and TSM's gotten early Drakes almost every single game this series, but now that it's Inferno, we might see Immortals change their priorities a bit.
Absolutely, and one hallmark of Immortals this split, as we even heard Smithy say just before this game, how anyone can be a carry, is rooted in selflessness that this team has. So when Smithy misses a smite up there, his team goes to support him. Ole leaves lane to go up. When he goes to invade the red buff, Ole and Pobelter roam in there with him. So everyone supports everyone else on this Immortals team.
Sacrifice is something that we hear so often from these players on Immortals. How they're willing to sacrifice for each other. This time around with Cody Sun in the bottom lane on Jinx, you gotta think a lot of it is going to be funneled towards him for those team fights, for the resets, and try and take over in mid-game.
So far he's farming pretty nicely. He's even got lane priority. You're seeing Immortals be the one to push in the bot lane towards the turret. Look back at this top side right here as it's a momentary push for Flame toward Hanser's side. Small farm lead would be equalized into the turret as long as he can last hit well. Sven took the Raptors away. You can see he's got 2.5 times the farm of Smithy. Individual gold-wise, it's only 200 apart. That farm slightly lies to you based on the fact that Gragas loves Raptors and Krugs. Still is winning the matchup slightly, though. Overall, though, a tied game, so no one to give the nod to just yet. Blue buff picked up slightly later by Bjergsen than Pobelter had, and he's going to recall off this.
And as they're farming and moving up towards that 10-minute mark here, with an Infernal Drake on the field, all the wards around the dragon do start to become very important. It's Smithy actually sneaks in here with a control ward and the sweeper activation. Bottom lane does come up, they're pushing, but TSM looked to be trailing.
They're gonna find it though, no wards over the wall. Yeah, it was the lane priority means they get to push up, but a minigun BF sword Jinx kills these things fast. He's gonna be in range to smite it, no one's there to steal, and yes,
wow,
Immortals change their priorities and they get that pickup.
And a really risky and sneaky Drake there by Smithy. He had yet to shop for a Ablami Cinder, so he's a very weak Jarvan helping that. It's completely reliant on his lanes being able to sneak down. But they delay their recalls where TSM doesn't, and that's what buys the time for that Infernal Drake sneak.
It's that, and as well, the vision they had on Svenskeren, alerting them. They know the jungler's on the top side, so Smithy willing to take that risk. He has the support, the sacrifice of his bottom lane to come up, and the strong start down there has definitely been a huge reward. Looks like there's going to be another Infernal Drake as well in this game, so we might be getting started quickly.
There's not a lot of defensive summoner spells for Pobelter, only a TP to get back to lane, so the Alistar dive could work. He's level 6, he's practically invincible. But nothing to be had, they're going to kite right back out. Nothing to be grabbed. 200 gold lead to TSM, the Infernal Drake more than makes up for that. Nice little taunt, Flame saw it coming, but he will miss some CS into the turret as a result. And of course, there's not much to play for on the bot side. Keep in mind, Flame can join that without teleport available. Smithy going to kill a ward and look to threaten Hanser. He knows he's in fog.
Yeah, a little surprised he actually took the time to kill that ward because it revealed him on that side of the map. And the ward was going to time out eventually anyways, but does use that to get some deep vision. And also because he revealed himself, it's more reason to push Hanser back to base if Flame also wanted a window to recall.
So what I did, he went back and I looked at the play actually. Smithy placed the control ward, so that turning it off would already alert him. So he would know.
Yeah, unless you're not watching minimaps, sometimes if you're bad like me, you just forget that that got put down. You're like, oh, it's been off the whole time. Oh, there's a Jarvan here.
That's
weird.
true. For players like Freak, wards don't even matter.
That's true.
Just
it's
the gold
biome. Yep. Saves you money. Well, it looks like top lane play is still to be had, though. He was seen a minute and a half ago, but he's still up in this tri-brush, looking for the play. He's gonna at least force around Hanser. The flag goes down to the bottom brush to look for someone. It gets the knock-up as a result. And here comes a teleport actually to try to make that play as Pobelter gonna join and then cancel. Doesn't want to be part of that anymore.
It looked like Flame actually was the one that
Flame, you're right.
Channeling it. Then he cancels it and they get a little zoning, but bottom.
Double knock-up on Cody Sun, gonna get some damage onto him. Trades back on a double and actually wins out on that. Damage not really quite there. So yeah, that's TP partially down for Flame. Of course, again, he's still Shen. He has the ulti.
And saving the ulti could be very critical. Cody Sun taking that trade while Grox is in the top side of the jungle. It is a prep for a dive. Definitely a misplay up top there where Xmithy gets a little bit too deep with no real way of turning a kill around out of Hanser. Now it's the time for Svenskeren to try and make a play.
See if they can find something out of this one. But Walter's still under turret right now. Xmithy this time not disturbed in his jungle. Grabs level 8, grabs the red. Now Bjergsen wants down to the bot side again. Shen can join, but so can Shogath. And here comes the engage one more time. Gonna grab him into the turret. But now that Devour is down. TP coming in. Walter to join the mix. Can they have it? Shockwave gonna pull him in. First blood to Bjergsen. Now can they get Sven? Gonna try to knock him around, but he stays away and gets alive with the flash. 1 for 0. TSM first blood. Looking for more.
And they couldn't execute the Shen ult because they were trying to make a play on the other side. Now they Shen ult the Corki.
Nothing to be had.
Shen out the Corki while the Devour is on him as well, and Immortals out a lot of cooldowns, out the first blood. Now they're on the bottom side of the map, kind of stuck down here because Flame also canceled his teleport before. He has no way to get back topside to Hanser. This Cho'Gath now can push up, force the jungler out of base.
Yeah, Immortals definitely out of sync here, and TSM capitalizing on that. The burn teleport cooldown's huge right there, gives Svenskeren so much time in the jungle. And then the fact that Immortals is making a play on the other side when a dive is imminent. The Shen ultimate would be so critical right here, but they're actually making a play for Cho'Gath while this is happening. So definitely some miscommunication. Also flash healing while still dropping to add insult to injury.
Yeah, we're still in the shockwave if they're flashing. That's rough because you expect to dodge that ultimate when it comes through.
All right, meanwhile, it's a swap up to the top side here for Immortals. Cody Sun getting out of that lane as soon as he was killed. Trying to rotate here and get some objective trading going for themselves.
And do what he can, still stacking up on this Cole. Just adding a little bit more gold to his pockets, but Infinity Edge done for double means he's well in power spec. Despite not being part of a killer assist, he still got the farm, he's still looking good. Didn't go Zerk Graves like Cody Sun did.
Might have just been a very quick swap there to deal with the fact that Flame had just used his teleport, canceled it, and then Stand United down to the bottom side. With Cody Sun coming up first, able to take care of that quick minion wave for him, and then right back down to bottom.
Wave threat of Bjergsen keeps himself in a good spot farm-wise, +1 against his lane opponent. So Welter has been trying to roam, hasn't found it just yet, but now a 3v1 against Hanser, not a lot of ways out. Flash is down, he could not possibly survive this. And they're gonna make sure they give the kill over to Cody Sun. They all stop auto-attacking. The Chopper's there to be sure about it. And Cody Sun getting his first kill of the game.
If at first you don't succeed, try again, but they're going to give over first turret for this one. And that's about the 3rd time they've tried to kill Hanser, finally executing. And the cost is arguably not worth it, depending on how quickly TSM can defend this bottom lane.
Right now, no one on that side of the map. Watch this fight again with the ulti.
Missile Voyage, able to catch Hanser off guard because of the reallocation of lane champions here. Smithy is on the case, and it's a very simple kill here on Hanser. 3v1, not very good odds for him.
No, unlucky for him, but the turret going to be taking lots of damage, and if they keep hitting this, they should kill it before the minion wave dies.
Make it for defense.
It's close. He's going to go rocket form for 2 more autos, but yes, just barely it will live. However, they can push this wave in, and with Jasana around, you can rocket form it twice, and as long as Tom Kench is waiting, you're fine. Yep. Out he goes. That's headbutt pulverized down, so Ole can take the shots. Now, who's going to join first? That's the real question. Bit of damage into Tom Kench, but he's fine. And the TP actually pulls double out a bit far. Do they have the re-engage damage? The taunt to buy a bit of time. The headbutt buys a few seconds, but it won't really matter. Biofrost does not have a way out. The kill gonna come through. A second for Cody Sun, and the re-engage. It's a bit of a 5v4. Flame had TP down.
Remember, this is also an Infernal Drake that has just spawned. Infernal Drake number 2, Immortals with a very timely kill, and they want that kill to turn into this main objective, starting up the dragon. Bjergsen looks for zoning.
Shockwave and Feast are up. You can't easily go for Drake in the face of a Cho'Gath. And Xmithy low on health. The package comes across, a lot of damage towards Flame as well. They force the flash out of one. Orianna on the other side. He's got to be careful though. He can be Shockwave killed. Goes for the dunk, gets the ulti in as well from Shen. Shockwave not going to get the kill until it does as Bjergsen triggers the Thunderlords. But a trade as Cody Sun now has his 3rd. He's out of mana, but he's still got bullets aplenty.
And the Drake was smacking away at Immortals the entire time, so they have to pull off of the Drake. And now TSM has Biofrost back from base. They might go for the Drake.
Hanser slows the chomp. I think this is likely for TSM to grab it. It's going to be Immortals forced to go away. And a 1-for-1 plus the Drake still going to TSM. But Welter not in a position to stop this. This will be an easy grab. TSM going to grab that. Chomps it away. Hanser gets another stack. And the Infernal Drakes are tied.
Another stack, and he gets a teleport to a very big wave up on the top side as well. More farm for himself. This Cho'Gath is growing up.
Yeah, just a clutch fight there for TSM to keep them in control of this game. The kill distribution also very interesting, this one, with 3 kills going on to Jinx the hyper carry, but also Bjergsen having 2 of them, with the shockwave threat to potentially kill him later. Watching this one more time, Bjergsen made a pretty big play here as Immortals go to peel off the Drake and cut him off, but then he's quickly able to flash over the wall, then absorb the ultimate from xMithy and still pick up the kill through the channel.
Yeah, his burst damage barely enough with the Thunder Lords to be able to kill through the shield. He also was the one to chunk Smithy beforehand while the Infernal Drake was on him, so Bjergsen was the one really creating all of it.
The flashless Orianna, Shockwave not going to be enough to kill off Pobelter, and now a flash engage. Battlefield wants in. Is there going to be enough though? Is Shen's on the other side of the map without a way of joining, who's actually a 4v4 despite the earlier kill. Explosive charge, going to do some damage to the rest of the team. Smithy a bit low, Ole the same.
It's about 5 seconds on explosive cast for Sven Skaren.
Ooh, not going to find the engage just yet. He won't find the targets, and out they go. Cody Sun might have to give some respect. The flash is up for Sven. He's going to be fine, and so Flame on the Shen got free time to push in the bot lane. The kill on Bjergsen unanswered, and Immortals now more on the map.
Big Abyssal Voyage there. Immortals able to get vengeance on Bjergsen. Now they got a little bit of pressure on bottom side as well as mid. Teleport rushed out.
Yeah, Photo TPs, you almost never TP to a wave just in equilibrium, but Pobelter wants to knock this turret down before anyone can join, and Double cannot walk in time, so Immortals should get the second turret.
Little macro plays, trying to hit item power spikes first, getting that turret down. Very good for Immortals. Turrets is something that went very well for them in game 2, trying to keep the wave shoving. And that's not the type of game we thought Immortals was going to be able to play in this one. Expecting a lot more from the Tristan Alistair in that lane, but Tom Kench just shutting down any of TSM's aggression down bottom lane. The waves have kind of swung in Immortals' favor here in the mid game.
Looking pretty solid on this one. Jinx got out of the landing phase pretty cleanly. 1,500 gold lead, and the money is all on that carry. The Marksmen have all the kills right now for Immortals, and Bjergsen, big surprise, has the kills for TSM. The MVP, he's gotten more than anyone in North America, hoping to be the most valuable player of the series as well, as Herald goes over to Immortals.
Yeah, but as usual, his Summoner spell so valuable against the Jarvan Shen. Similar to a Jarvan Galio, where if your flash is down, they can pile on to that carry and prevent Bjergsen from being able to reach Pobelter and Cody Sun. And if Pobelter and Cody Sun stay safe in these fights, they have the gold distribution and they're building up the items to carry those fights.
That's one of the reasons why TSM have to be so worried about splitting up. The Abyssal Voyage, the Stand United, these are tools that Immortals have constantly been using to pick members of TSM off. Right now, though, they're all grouped up and taking down the mid turret. Nicely
done with that one. Double getting the damage of the Rupture, forced Cody Sun to walk away, and bottom a few more seconds. Top lane, though, pushed all the way into Tier 2. There'll be some farm denied.
Immortals really want to split TSM up, try and again continue to pick them off with these cross-map abilities and create some advantages for themselves. Defensive vision being set up for TSM, though, as they try and retreat to their turrets.
And this is a double TP game that's actually working for Immortals, unlike game 1, because Flame is actually winning the 1v1 against Concert at this point with Titanic Hydra and Spectre's Cow.
Nice cast. Stop the usage of Rift Herald. Actually, that is an ulti that saved the mid lane outer turret. You almost never get ults that good, so props to Sven for the heads-up play.
Teams need to use that spell further back. I've seen so many interrupted unnecessarily, but they're going to keep the pressure on now that Cask is down.
Orianna roaming over through the jungle. Smithy's going to be there to cut it off, but do they have the time, though? Turret's going to fall. Get excited for Cody Sun. And they're going to get the knock-up as well on a Biofrost, the Chompers as well, and he's going to pop the ult to get away. That is Alistair ult down for a very small investment in Immortals, up 3-2 in turrets.
You got to wonder where TSM's going to get back into this one, because Immortals has so much control. The split push is in the side of Immortals. Their teleport is up on Shen. The initiation for TSM, as we mentioned, was mostly on Biofrost and Sven Skaren. Sven Skaren's using his ultimate to clear Rift Heralds away. Biofrost is burning his ultimate because he's taking too much poke from a Jinx. It's looking very good for Immortals right now, getting control of the map.
Immortals with this Jinx pick, second pick super early on. Cody Sun with 3 kills. Now he's got the Hurricane completed, but
the Shockwave gets him, and there's no way out for Ole. Read his name backwards, flip it around, goodbye, he's dead. Third kill of the game now for TSM, and again, it goes on to Bjergsen.
Creating their own kill right there, just straight jumping onto Ole, and they take the Abyssal Voyage right out of him.
Wonder how they're going to make a play. Bjergsen steps up yet again. on the final stage, but this game's still incredibly close. Now Pobelter's going for one.
Wants to play, gets the penalty as well, and Bjergsen does have flash, gonna get away. Yes, he buys some time, but the shot still lands. The Trinity Force comes in on that, and now the re-engage taunt. No unbreakable will, and he is broken. The Cataclysm as well, and Hanser has the flash, does get away, popping the silence. Still a 2 for 0. Props to Immortals looking for a bit more. The knockup is in. They still want Hanser. Watch out on the backside as Double looks for the duel. He might just get him. The health bar so low for Pobelter. Staying alive, and the shot gets Smithy back actually. So Hanser making it a 2 for 1. 1 back for TSM.
A little bit of an overzealous dive there from Immortals. TSM get 1 back, and they're still chasing.
They almost get flamed. The knockup does land, but there's no damage to follow through. Nice trade kill. TSM getting 1 on the back end. 3v5.
Yeah, trading blows in a big way. Packaging into the enemy jungle. Bjergsen does not have the ultimate from the previous kill, so then Immortal strikes back, but they overpush a little bit. Hanser able to return it under the turret once again with a big feast onto Cho'Gath.
Second major item is done for these marksmen as well, and you can see this play one more time.
Yeah, Codyson, or Pobelter here, just jumping immediately onto Bjergsen, knowing that he can get the stand united. Smithy coming from the bottom side as well, and after they got the first 2 kills, they were just all forward here, ready to go. Then they actually get a bit too deep under the turret. Smithy uses his complete combo under the turret, gets immediately slowed by Cho'Gath, and has to walk his way out under turret fire.
Yeah, and the unsung hero of that fight was Double taking on both Immortals carries while the dive was happening, and then knocking them out of the fight with his ultimate, very nearly killing Pobelter. Because of the overstay, the eventual result of that play is a Cloud Drake going over to TSM because of the map control, but it's always the next play that's set up because you spend some time taking the Cloud Drake, that gives Immortals some time to take vision control in the jungle.
And last time they had vision control over the Baron buff, they got it pretty cleanly, and the ensuing team fights around. 3,000 gold lead, first of the play, extra zeal on the marksman in the bot lane. Both mids on 2 items is not too bad on this side, and Hanser's got his Righteous Glory done as well. Maybe he's a bit ahead of Flame in currently completed items, but still a close play here.
And it looks like Biofrost is building one as well. TSM gearing up for the engagements. Biofrost doesn't have his flash right now, so Codyson and Pobelter both have to be very wary about the multiple beef balls that will be headed their way.
Lead still 3,000 for Immortals, minus the Cloud Drake of TSM's.
Again,
the next plays are set up.
Immortals still want to continue to spread TSM out, draw them across this map so they can try and use the Abyss Void, use the Stand United for those picks that we just saw. A couple more seconds on Stand United cooldown, and might actually start to set something up.
Yeah, both these teams, very good. There's a reason they're in the finals, #1 and #2 seed in the regular season. As you can see, Immortals incredibly good with the lead after 25 minutes, but I also know TSM, one of the best teams playing from small gold deficits because of how well they team fight.
Problem for them right now is that Hanser has no teleport, so nobody can match the presence of that split pusher, of the Shen. Flame can move about the map, and that means that the rest of TSM, the 4-man squad, has to give the power over to the Immortals squad here in the mid lane. They cannot answer with even numbers.
Red buff on Cody, some of the rapid fire cannon means lots of turret damage here, as long as he respects what the engage could be.
And if TSM is going to shut down one of these plays, it has to be with a snap judgment initiation. Either Svenskeren has to get a body slam cask onto someone, Biofrost has to initiate, or Bjergsen has to hide the Orianna ball somewhere to get a play. And it's very dangerous for Codyson to be up like this. He's gone full glass cannon right here. Yes, he does have the Tahm Kench, but if you get a group in a shockwave, it can be over very quickly.
It's about how quick Ole and Codyson are in getting away with this kind of stuff, and who trusts whom to land the skill shots and defend their players in time. Flame on the Shen, sitting in the bot lane.
Smithy actually flanks around behind the entire TSM team to pull the minion wave out from under them.
It's pretty cute. Watch out, Pobelter.
They're buying time right now. They're trying to buy time.
Smithy's trapped. He's been knocked up. There's no way out for him. He's going to take the penalty. Dunk in towards Hanser, trying to buy a few more seconds. Trail goes down to Biofrost with the Ignite.
They got no money. They got to pay for it with Smithy's life right there. And even though they get the small amount of time for Shen to get some damage on the turret, it's very minimal at this point.
Yeah, Smithy was hoping to set up a flank, but they didn't need to. They were winning the split push war. TSM collapsed in just the right way. Get the feast before it can jump away. Now turn for Baron.
Teleport coming in for Shen. Shockwave's gonna land the body slam, the explosive cast, and the shutdown comes through. 2 unanswered kills now as the engage might come back through, looking to shut them down. Cody Sun's got the damage up, but does he have the front line to keep him alive? A nice knock up there. They're gonna look for the Shen on this one. Flames running out of health, puts the dodge stun, buys a few seconds. The stun comes out from Biofrost, and Hanser's on the chase. Flames gonna be careful. Ole gonna flash, gonna pop the shield to survive the explosive charge. The knock up there, the shield comes in time. He's running away. He's almost running down, but the heal and the face the mountain comes through, and the Baron is disengaged by Immortals.
You can see the dilemma in these team fights. They engage onto Ole instead of Cody Sun because they don't want their engage to be stuffed by a Devour, but that completely shuts down the Baron. Yes, they did kill Pobelter, but they can't even kill the Tahm Kench as they chase after him, and they spend so much time and resources on that.
They're rushing
now
it.
Immortals is gonna rush. Pobelter's gonna TP in 2 seconds.
Hanser has teleport as well, but there's no wards around for TSM to use.
They know.
But
the whole
doesn't
team's
matter.
coming in.
Shockwave's up in 5.
No, they see double. If they see Pobelter running out of health, he's going to jump in towards Sven. And the play still towards that Baron, 2,000 health. Biofrost's in range. They're going to rush it down in time.
Hanser can feast it.
Hanser, can he feast it? He's looking for the play on the kills instead. Red team picks up Baron, but the trade as Cody Sun falls. Now, how good's the chase going to be? Can Dylan get resets? Does he have assists on this? Can he hit Ole? Now he does get the reset. Won't jump the wall, though. 2 kills picked up. Trade, though, is Baron for Immortals.
TSM got there almost in the nick of time, but Hanser goes for the kills instead of for the Baron steal there, and they do end up getting 2 of those kills. Now, TSM with the man advantage in mid lane, trying to press it.
Split-second decisions, but you have to question whether or not Hanser should have gone for the feast onto Baron. More true damage than anyone else can deal. Could have stolen the Baron for TSM, and they were most likely winning the fight anyway. They get the kills and they get a turret, but it is Immortals who hold the Baron.
We'll see what they can do with that when the team respawns, because right now it's been a negative Baron power play. 2 kills plus mid lane true 2 is going to be worth roughly the gold that Baron is in and of itself, and then TSM get more out of it on the reset, on the retreat. They're going to grab this blue buff. Cody Sun now with the last whisper will have a better time at knocking down the front line. It's triple tank for TSM. Pobelter going towards the Infinity Edge, still not yet in the pen factory for his item. But the tank's getting beefier. And Hanser, 2-1-4.
Such a tense moment in the game here. Pobelter peels out. The Baron is incredibly low. Biofrost engaged, and when you see the Cho'Gath running in, you think, Flash Feast, it's his. Down at 1,200 health, the Feast could have finished it, but they do not do that. Immortals bails out the back of the pit as quickly as possible.
Double Lift doesn't get over the wall there with his rocket jump. No chase comes through either, so TSM have to be happy with just their 2 kills, and Immortals get to push afterwards. Pobelter gets the minions up to the turret.
That Trinity Force, plenty of damage out of that Corki right there. And now the slow on a Sven. He doesn't have flash. Explosive cast pulls in Flame. Goes back for the dunk, though. The front line is here. Jumps right back out with a flag and drag. And a big CC burst comes through, but Unbreakable Will means Biofrost will not take any meaningful damage. The disengaged shot just barely going to miss. Nice escape with the Valkyrie from Pobelter. Now the slow and a Hanser also flashless, but does have the Feast. They've got to be careful on their own front line because that will be hundreds of true damage heading back towards those tanks. Overall disengage, all 5 alive.
These are scrappy little team fights there in the jungle coming through. Couple of stone plates used. Now no tanks have them available. The Baron buff still on Immortals.
Live.
Yeah, these fights are marathons as well because of the Gargoyle stone plate front lines. And now the last whisper being completed onto Cody Sun does help shred through that. But he still needs more, as is very clear by how long that fight took. Ocean Drake now started for Immortals, not really using the Baron buff for turrets, instead just going now for Ocean.
Cody Sun's got a fully charged minigun right now. If the fight were to start, he's actually, with no smite available, there's a chance that Sven steals it with the barrel. Doesn't quite get it though, and as the minions get cleared away, Pobelter has money for an Infinity Edge. The Void Staff, though, done for Bjergsen means plenty of damage as well. And Double Lift himself already on his 3 big crit items. Still slightly behind the Cody Sun curve, but these marks have been very threatening. As Ocean Drake will let Immortal stay on the map a bit easier.
And one thing that's happened in this game is Pobelter spent a lot of time in side lanes and accrued a very large CS lead onto Bjergsen, which is a very rare thing to see, to have Bjergsen down 50 CS in this game, but it's because TSM has needed to rely on Bjergsen for starting a lot of these fights. It hasn't been able to be Biofrost or Svenskeren. It's often the Shockwave that they're trying to go for. And often because Bjergsen is up very far this game, Immortals is punishing by jumping on top of him. Now with Summoner spells up, he's free to play aggressive once again, but it is that razor's edge he has to play on to try and make these fights happen without getting picked off by Immortals.
Things to watch for Pobelter, again, still in that split push duty. Bjergsen has Ghost to that teleport of Pobelter, 2-level lead, as you mentioned, the farm from before as well. Death Cap starting out for Bjergsen has the needlessly large rod. Pobelter keeps to keep pushing, and honestly, I don't think he's threatened by Hansa right now. Just to knock down the minions and force Cho'Gath onto the turret. Bjergsen wave clearing in the mid, but no one is answering Flame. The top side is always one lane that TSM can't really touch easily. Looking for the play, though. They get the body slam. Ole knocked up as well, knocked back. He's going to be squishy, puts on the shield. Flashed over the wall, stays alive for this one. The re-engage towards Biofrost, good damage into the Hurricane. Cody's son goes for the ulti, gets him low. Biofrost will not yet flinch for the ultimate.
Flame held on to the Stand United during that entire fight as well, even when Ole gets knocked in. So they have the minion wave pushing on top side, plus a slight little health advantage here. Bjergsen at half and very low on mana means that Immortals might be able to get some extra ground.
The Orianna shielded Cho, though, is so hard to push through. You can see just a 1,100 gold Baron power play by Immortals keeps this game incredibly close. But one thing we can't deny is Immortals' map pressure. They consistently have these waves pushed into TSM territory.
They have to try and get them into position for their picks. But Biofrost making one of his own.
Finds the body slam flash. Valkyrie still available. Going to buy some time. Here comes Shen, but it's still a 2 versus 3. Biofrost not going to find the auto attack stun, though the trample timer runs out. That is still an ulti down. Righteous Glory, not that long of a cooldown.
Doesn't even have to burn flash on Alistair. That's going to be pretty critical come the next fight if they can catch Cody or Pobelter. 1 minute 42 on Baron, and I think we need to immediately start talking about that and watch the prep for the next Baron.
Scrying orb control here early for Smithy. They already have the Scuttle Crab and some advanced trinkets too.
Just gonna go for the recall right now. Few final items coming in. 1.5 till Baron means there's not a lot left to complete. Doublelift probably won't be able to afford the large Dominix, which Cody's son already has, so 20% more damage than this Jinx as a result.
Definitely is an extremely close game here, extremely close series. This is what people were expecting from the two top teams in the North American LCS coming into finals. Definitely not disappointing this far.
Yeah, you hear 3-2 predictions one way or the other. And that means the series can come down to potentially one team fight, one small moment, one error by a player just not being in the right position. Any of those things can decide it. Or whether or not you feast a player or the Baron, that could have given TSM momentum in this game to get some map control back, maybe take the outer turret in the bottom lane, which is still standing. But as of now, Immortals with a slight pressure advantage, a very squishy backline, but an incredibly strong frontline that has kept them safe to deal damage in these long-form team fights we've seen this game.
And Jat, you mentioned a pressure advantage. This right now is the first time TSM has seen past their river in the last few seconds. There's completely 0 wards past his midpoint until just now. Baron hasn't spawned yet, so they can maybe get some of this vision back, but they do not have anything close to a deep ward. Looking to set up around the Baron right now, sweeping some away themselves as Biofrost charges in, gets the control ward inside the Baron pit, so it's Immortals slightly in the back foot. They knock down some of this vision, but TSM lurking in the darkness.
Yeah, pay attention to the 2 copies of Righteous Glory TSM have purchased. Needing Biofrost or Svenskeren to make a play.
Looking for the flank from Pobelter, looks at elite double lift. Look at the damage up with their 500 left. Here comes the dunk, looking for the burst damage across, and the Valkyrie coming in for the damage. The package not quite gonna kill just yet, but Hanser chasing the Cody's son, not quite the kill though, and now it's time to lifesteal back in the Cho'Gath. The Stoneplate fades, does not get the one shot, and he's not gonna be that Cinder crossplay he wanted as Cody's son gets himself the kill, and the biggest take is gone, but the trade kill gonna come into Pobelter, but now it's double lift falling, and it's only the 1 carry left. And it's Bjergsen looking for the play, gets a lot of damage on Smithy. He's taking the turret, has to flash away, the zap. Not quite gonna find Biofrost, but it's still a little bit of alone time with the turret. Shockwave is down. 4 versus 3 into this one. That turret should fall.
All the takes in the game, and it's Pobelter who makes the initiation on Corki to push Doublelift back into the team. Now they turn for Baron.
Abyss of Voyage gets them right over there. Svenskeren and Bjergsen trying to go put a stop to it.
And Flame trying to buy a little bit of time as well. They know Sven has the chance to smite this, and look at that. They're going to peel off to look for the kill here. And this one going to go for the taunt. No! Not able to land it. He bought his over the wall.
That means Baron resets. Hanster's up in 10 seconds with teleport.
Bjergsen
might have to pull back.
He's got flash. The ulti's not quite going to land. Good juke to the side. Still landed that burst, though, and that poke, and Cody's son's at half HP. Doesn't grab the blue buff either. TSM a bit stronger at this point.
Oh, the decision to peel back, probably the
right
one. But does that mean that TSM can now rush Baron? No, they decide to go back and everything will reset.
Yeah, Flame could join the fight, but both are the same. Those TPs were available. Hanser burned his to join, so now it's 2 versus 0 in global teleports. Immortals actually 6,000 up, 5,000 up in gold.
Things are down onto Baron right
started.
now, though.
Well, they know what's happened because of the Rift Scuttle are being grabbed. TP coming in. Phobos is there as well, so the most of the squad should be around. And that's 1 TP force. TSM, though, that's all they wanted. Teleport now down on Flame.
Can still be considered a small victory. TSM didn't invest much for that. Now they're going on to Xmithy.
A lot of damage to him. Gets the Shelly, but he's going to get trapped down. No, saved out by Ole. Phobos also safe for the wings as well. Xmithy going to survive this one. Poke back and forth on a Hanser, staying alive on both sides.
Such a smart play by Ole. You always expected Tom Kench babysit the AD carry, but he's 1,000 range away from his AD. But he's in the exactly right spot to save Xmithy with Elder Dragon and Baron now on the map.
At this point, Ole is a tank in his own right up there on the front lines, and all Immortals are looking for is that reset on Cody Sun to get excited. That's why Pobelter sacrificed himself in the previous fight, diving deep into the backline and creating space for Immortals to win that team fight.
2,500 gold on Cody Sun. He's so close to being able to complete either a Bloodthirster or Blade of the Ruin King for these huge fights. When that completes, the Jinx hits her final form, but that doesn't give time for Immortals to set up this dance, which is never ending.
We're going to look for the play on the Elder Dragon. Flame force to taunt away. So that's on cooldown for a few more seconds. 5,000 health on this one. Hanser. What does he want to feast?
Feast.
It'd be a triple stack either way. He's going to look for this one. TSM looking to burn down the dragon. Does Immortals find themselves the fight? They go for the shot with the backline. Cody Sun is gone. Ole can't save it. The Elder Dragon grabbed as well. TSM with 2 kills. Looking for the third, and Ole's going to be shut down. You have to imagine the damage is there despite the shield. The Pulverize is in. 3 kills plus the Elder Dragon for TSM. But Pobelter TP's top lane to try to get a trade.
This time TSM go for the objective and they get the kills afterwards, but Pobelter is taking down the inhibitor turret.
He's looking for a bit of a base race.
Make a play. That's a big Shogun.
Not sure he can stop Hanser. The slows are in. Look at the silence as well. Gets away from the rupture. No feast for a while though. Can he lifesteal tank this? He's trying, but he's getting burned down. There's no way out. Pobelter just gonna get chopped down by Hanser. The kill as the rest of the team pushes the base.
20 seconds left on Cody and Ole. TSM have tanks in the front and still some minions there escorting. They want to win right now.
The turrets are a given. Can they get the nexus in time? It's going to be some time bot here as he taunts in and puts in the dodge. 1 turret's gone. Cody Sun up in 3 seconds. Flame looking to buy a few more time, but be careful. The re-engage could be there. Gets away, stays alive.
Okay, we may get a moment of respite, but TSM does still have the Baron on the map.
Yep.
They're going to be going over there. Immortals only has 4 people for a potential defense. I think they have to give it over.
Beast is available once again for Hanser, so he can secure it for the team.
They're going. Immortals is looking to disrupt this Baron.
They have the damage up, but they're going to try for this one. Damage in a pile. Frost does have the ulti for a few more seconds. He has to wait, actually. Can't pop it in time, so 1 kill. Get excited for the Jinx, then. Lands a bit of damage.
Is up. Elder Drake just now wearing off for TSM.
Slow into Hanser. Do they go for the Cho'Gath, though? Stoneplate is down. The ulti is up. Yes, he is huge. Watch out for the next little bit. They found Ole on the wings. He's going to get some damage. A shield quickly from Shen. He's going to bring Flame into the front lines. 5v4. No Biocross for 30 seconds.
The game does go on. There's still a Nexus turret, and with Elder Dragon down, it's just the Baron to give TSM combat effectiveness. But let's take a breath. All the way back to the Elder Dragon. Look at Cody. Never take your eyes off the ball. He's looking at the Elder Drake, but Orianna catches him. Bjergsen with a huge play right here. Everyone's looking at Elder. Sneaks it in from the terrain. CC chain with Biofrost to take him out. And then because TSM has Cho'Gath and Gragas, they have their cake and eat it too. They focus the Baron while Bjergsen takes out the opponent carry.
Absolutely annihilated there as TSM are able to have both of the guaranteed buffs. Now with Baron, they're going to push on bottom side. Turret should be easy to topple, and it's all about the inhibitors.
The question is now what's next, because Immortals still hold the gold lead, but TSM, of course, 2 minutes left on this Baron buff, can do more with it to close the gap even further. That middle inhibitor being dead, it forces the soul lanes of Immortals to push that wave out first.
And Cody Sun, full items now, sells his boots, has completed his scimitar, and has a Guardian Angel. That does make it much more difficult to dodge Shockwave if Bjergsen is putting it straight on top of him. So even slimmer margins for error that they have to play with right now.
Also difficult to keep track of that ball with the Cho'Gath taking up half of your screen.
Just hide it in the Cho'Gath.
Hanser's running up onto the turret.
See what they can find on this one. Poets are getting some poke on the wings. Of course, a very scary Corki has the Guardian Angel himself. Of course, TSM back for now as the minions have fallen. Cody-san has 900 damage critical strikes. Not going to be very different for the Corki as well, who's also full build, keeping his Sork Shoes. Bjergsen one more slot to go as he moves towards Luton's Echo. Here comes the next Siege. Baron buff on for 3 more waves. The first of those, stun onto the Shen. He's durable, but look at the damage of the turret. Nice and down. No, tugging in the back line. They almost take him out, but he stays alive, and now he's healing. And he's going to be very, very healthy in this one. Hanser getting the dunk, and they actually did find someone at Cody's son. The shotgun to Ole comes back in for this one, but watch out for the rupture. Staying alive just barely. The team is okay. 5v5, but GA's down.
Bjergsen actually out of mana there at the end, too, for TSM, so they're able to peel back off just barely. Immortals hold on to the inhibitor, so the biggest damage is not done.
Gotta be quick with your QSS if you're doubleth right there. Steps forward. I believe he's the one that popped Cody's son's GA before using his scimitar to back out of that one. And TSM finally now with some control in the game. They were able to get that Elder Drake. They moved it into Baron. Just now they gain a 100 gold lead as they approach max items.
The next time they meet, the buff should be timing out. TSM get to play for the minion waves first. And the middle inhibitor is still dead for a few more super minions. The next time they meet again, it'll be equal gold. The question is who can make the most out of it. Doubleth right now has been keeping his boots. Has some money, not enough to sell for a GA though. And here comes TSM looking for that bot side. The mana pool is back to full, the health bar is the same. And an open inhibitor. We're nearly that in the bot lane. The turret fell previously. Tristana. Baron now timing out, looking for the play. Look at the damage output for Doubleth. It's very easy. He's got the range, and Cody-san has to give so much respect. His flash, I believe, is back available now. But be careful, Doubleth still putting in the threat. He's at half HP, takes another crit.
Yeah, it was Flash Cho'Gath Beast that killed Cody-san last time, so that's the only flash that is missing from TSM. That type of instant initiation is no longer available for TSM as they try and siege this inhibitor. They may just be buying time for the objectives to respawn, but if they can find that shockwave, it can mean the end of the game.
Spent a half HP. We know Cobelter can be threatening. Here comes the push once again for this inhibitor. Middle respawns with bot lane under fire. Righteous Glory pop the stun into Shen. Can't let him into the back line. And a taunt coming across, but a closer charge gets him low. They're going to go for the re-engage on Shen. Flame almost dead. Gets popped up by Ole. Now into the back line. Cobelter getting a duel. He's got to watch out. Shotgun pulls back, getting Smithy. They got to knock down the jungler. Hanser gets the feast for the kill. 5v4, and the chase continues. TSM knows they've got the advantage as the inhibitor is going to fall, and they can walk right back to the mid lane. Even a surrogate super minion sitting around.
This is going to be number 2, and with 40+ seconds left on Smithy, they could try and end the game. There's only one Nexus turret left.
Complimentary super helping into the mid. Bjergsen chunked the half, but he's going to be fine on this one. No damage that matters on a double explosive charge. Look at the damage on that turret. 2 more hits from dead. It's going to fall. 5v4 still. They're missing Smithy. Can the backline even get some damage across? Double pretty safe. They pop the Shen ult just to keep him alive a little bit longer. Cody-san doesn't find the fight he needs, though. Hanser's still going to be safe onto this one. Here comes the CC from Biofrost to chase in and pull out through the backline. But the damage output is there, and Double takes down the Nexus. 1 game away from their 6th championship.
What a marathon that game was, and Hanser just got too big on Cho'Gath. The front line from TSM could not be stopped. I mean, you have a full item Jinx and Corki never really seeming to scratch the TSM front line.
Part of the reason Cho'Gath is so highly prized across the world now is once you get to the end game, where all the tanks are running around with these stone plates, Cho'Gath still gets to throw a giant amount of true damage and execute the enemy front line. He doesn't even have to flash into the back line this time around. They just go for the Jarvan. They got hit with multiple forms of CC, and after you get that 1 kill is when they topple.
I mean, really good play out of TSM. They came back from a pretty large deficit. At some point in the mid game, it was 5,000 apart.
Yeah.
And they played the Baron dance and the Elder Dragon dance very well. Got the team fights they wanted, and the backline eventually came alive and did all the damage they needed afterwards.
This was the closest and best game of the series.
Yeah.
It means TSM's 1 game away from ending it. Everyone's been predicting a 3-2 series in some way, so that would mean Immortals has to find a way to bounce back and take the next one.
But we'll see if they can do it. TSM on double match point, and now for an in-depth look in that Game 3 win, let's send it over to the Dash and the analysts.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Got to welcome our next guest, Cop, to the desk. So first off, thank you very much for joining us, providing some more insight on this very exciting best of 5. TSM now up 2-1. And before we do anything, I want to take another look at that Elder Drake fight. Acer Predator replay for this game here. TSM snatching the game away from Immortals off of a huge ultimate out of your MVP in Bjergsen.
And a lot of Cody Sun's play was predicated on the fact that Ole was going to be there to protect him, but it's Cody Sun's fault for stepping on that ball. It doesn't really give the Tahm Kench a chance to save him. So when he walks back through this choke point, he's not going to see that. It's right there. And then in the middle of a tongue lash, you can't eat him to save him. He can't actually protect Cody. He goes down instantly, and then without the Jinx, this fight's over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have the two damage sources, Shen and Tahm Kench, and a full tank J4 are adding almost nothing in the team fights in the later stages of the game. So it's all about Pobelter. It's all about Cody Sun. And when one goes down to start the fight is done.
And Cop, you said it very plainly. That's the weakness of the Immortals comp. Let's talk about Champion Select and the way that it broke down for both these teams.
Well, I think they're just the Tahm Kench. I think he can't be walking up for a Q just because he needs to be there to help Jinx. Jinx is like trying to get damage off. The only way to actually win the fight is bait out the ulti, so he's had to play safer there, I think.
A little bit safer there, but again, as a weakness of the comp, how did you guys feel about the way that it broke down TSM to Immortals and Champ Select?
It was a bit of a strange draft to me just because the Jinx was taken so early on in response to the Tristana, and then you see TSM instantly counter that pick out in the mid to late game by taking Alistar and Gragas, lots of displacement tools. And then in the bans, they don't actually target out the Tahm Kench, which you just saw Immortals play in the game before.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit interesting. TSM instead decided to target Sejuani and Morgana to try to maybe make sure that the Jarvan is actually going into the jungle, that they can't flex that to top lane. And although we all were kind of a little bit surprised that Tahm Kench got through pick and ban, it did end up working out for TSM. They did outscale, and that's something that we had been talking about quite a bit, kind of the superior front line from TSM and how they looked in the late game.
I think Immortals just had a really good early game comp. Like they had pressure bottom, Tahm to like nullify the Alistar. They could make global plays. They had Shen into Cho with like a really easy ganks everywhere with Jarvan. So they didn't really get many ganks off, and J4 fell really behind, and then they kind of just got outscaled a little bit.
Definitely could have capitalized a little bit more on the early moves around the map. And while we did point out a mistake from Ole there in that fight, that very pivotal fight, I do want to talk about his Tahm Kench, though, because to some degree, we were surprised to even see it left up here in this game following his previous performance on this champion.
I think this was a dangerous play by TSM to leave it up through that second ban phase, because in the mid game, he made a ton of plays. That teleport play down there, using his ultimate to get a handle onto the Hunter, and then here he saves Cody Sun, spits him out. This baits TSM into getting over aggressive. Turret drops. Now it's a long lane, easy teleport in, and then just over the course of team fights, constantly being able to save both frontline and backline members.
And this was funny because it was kind of the Tahm Kench Jinx combo is kind of a nod to 2015 Worlds, that a lot of the LMS squads had pulled that out and used that quite effectively against the rest of the world.
And I think this gold graph just highlights how dangerous it was leaving that Tahm Kench up.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the Jinx actually did get a lot of damage out. It's not like Pobelter and Cody Sun weren't getting work done. They outdamaged their counterparts on TSM. But the fact is, the front line from TSM was much more durable.
Just gets too hard to kill that Cho Gragas front line. They got with shields from Ori. They have Alistar to like protect. They have a triple tank line. Eventually, it's just too hard for like Jinx. Like Shen just falls off. Jinx can only do damage, but not through like that much.
Right, just the fact that Cho'Gath there had 23K to about the 9K of the Shen. 23 looks small in comparison to 65 from a Jinx, but when you consider that a lot of that damage is being dumped as true damage into the front line of Immortals, that's where you saw those team fights kind of break.
And I mean, Cho'Gath has percentage HP damage on his E, so he actually can function as a frontline killer very well in the later game stages of these fights, right? Whereas Shen, it's like, what are you really supposed to do in a late game fight? Are you supposed to just go head to head with the Cho'Gath? Are you supposed to try to dive onto Tristana? I mean, that's
sell an
not
item,
going to
build
work
pork,
either,
start
right?
split pushing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what the Cho'Gath did to Pobelter when they were up in that top lane after that TP play. Just chased him down and killed the Corki. I mean, that's nothing comparable on the Immortal side. No one can do that to the other team's backline.
All right, that said, let's look ahead towards Game 4. Everybody here's rooting for a 5-game series, regardless of who takes it. We want to see more matches. So, given that's the case, Immortals has to put together a win here in Game 4. What do we want to see out of them differently from Game 3 in order to strike back?
I think they either need more scaling or they need to actually use their comp correctly. They kind of like relaxed in the mid game when they needed to really pressure just because they were slowly getting outscaled and they just played too slow. TSM, like if they got that first Baron, if they really got anything early, they would have just won the game easily, but I guess Immortals just failed to end it out.
I think what Gordon Hayward said was pretty relevant, where he said, go back to what works if something doesn't. And one game that they won, you had Flame playing J4, an
Yes.
aggressive playmaking champion. I think when he had that, he was able to make big plays. Here on Shen, not as effective. Same thing as in Game 1 when he was stuck on Cho'Gath. He needs something where he can be the aggressor a little bit more.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but it's also, TSM is trying to stop them from doing that, right? By banning away Sejuani, by keeping J4 in the jungle. And I think the compositionally, it was fine for Immortals. I tend to agree more with Cop, where it's play around objectives. It's Immortals starting up the Elder Dragon when there's a Cho'Gath on the other team, and TSM is able to walk in, take that. It's the first Baron going over to TSM. It's points of power for Immortals they needed to actually capitalize on, and they failed to do so.
Well, just like Game 2, Immortals has elected to go back to blue side. That's where they did first pick that Jarvan for Flame. So perhaps we'll see something emulating that Game 2 composition. Final question I want to throw over to you, Cop, is that as you had to coach against both of these squads throughout the split, what do you feel are the different strengths and weaknesses of each of these teams and how they might be exploited here today?
TSM, they go for more scaling comps. And like they play the Tristalisar all the time. They play a lot of Cog. They play a lot of Xayah. So they're going for late game. And like Haunter's always scaling up. He plays like the bigger tank, the better tank. And Immortals, they're more like the aggro team. They play Renekton, like Nidalee, or Renekton, whatever. They just like Renekton.
I'd love an Italy. I saw Lorlo playing Italy top just the other day in solo queue. I wouldn't mind to see that one come out. But yeah, more aggressive Immortals.
Play faster. They
Play faster. Play faster. That's what you heard from Cop here on how Immortals gets back into the series. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us here on the desk and providing your insight. It's match point for TSM. Meet us back here after the break to see if Immortals can keep their championship hopes alive. Don't touch that browser. Game 4 is up next.